Hi, my name is Sal Albanese, and I've been doing a tooth in liquid video to see what happens to teeth. Enamel, which has the same materials. Eggshells have the same materials as teeth. So I wanted to see what would happen to teeth and put into 15 different solutions. So they've been in there for 40 hours, and we're about to do the big, taking it out. Okay. So this one is blue Powerade. It's a sports drink. Okay. So as you can see, the blue Powerade is kind of warped. Like the shell has
Get
these.
up closer.
It has these bumps all over it, and it has these. It's badly stained. These were all white when we started with them. It's all pretty bad. Okay. Next one is Diet Cola.
And why are you using the screen? The little screen net, you're using it to capture the egg and see if there's any crud that came out of it.
Yeah. So if you see the Diet Cola, none of these had cracks in them before we put them in. We made sure of that. So if you look, there's this huge crack all over it, and it's pretty stained. So there's that crack.
Do me a favor, put the lid back on the jar, Sal, so that we know which one's which. So you can do it when you do your presentation.
Okay, so the next one is white vinegar. So this one's very interesting.
I can't see it, but
Sorry.
bring it closer to here real quick. Okay. Over the sink? Over the sink?
Yeah, it smells pretty bad. Okay. What's interesting with this one, which I just discovered, I'm not going to touch it, but if you can see through the camera, it has the shell. It's literally gone. Like.
Over the sink, buddy. I don't want it on my floor.
Yeah. If you look, can you get closer? If you look, I can literally press into it. The vinegar has eaten the shell.
It's more like jelly, huh?
Yeah. The reason I did the vinegar is you don't drink vinegar, but vinegar is in a lot of your foods, and this is going to happen to your teeth unless you brush it. It's pretty gross, right?
Keep them in order so that you can...
Yeah. Next one is Mountain Breeze Soda.
Which is similar to...
Mountain Dew. It's cheaper. So... The Mountain Breeze, it doesn't have any cracks, but if you look, it has this layer of just filth on it. Like, look, if I'm literally just peeling it away by just touching it. But if you see underneath, compared to the outside, here, I'm gonna hold it up.
It's right. It was right where it was. I didn't zoom in.
Sorry. It's white and then it's yellow around. It's pretty gross. It's stained pretty bad. So the next one is just cola without the diet.
And that one was dark, so it was hard to see the egg.
It was hard to do the entry logs that I did because it was so dark. Same with like the coffee and the diet cola. They're all pretty dark. So if you look very closely at the cola, it also has a crack right here.
Right back over the sink because I'm zooming in.
It has a crack right where my finger is on the edge. And the jars weren't shook while we were doing the thing, it was perfectly still, except for when we were doing the energy logs. I just simply pull it out and examine it and put it back in. Not out of the jar. It stayed in the jar for the 48 hours. But, so 48 hours has done this to just a perfectly white egg. And it's cracked, and it's not been shaken or anything. It's just simply by being put in the liquid for 48 hours, it's been cracked, which is pretty scary. The next one is sugar water, 1 cup sugar for 1 cup water. Yeah. It's been floating this whole time, and there's no abnormalities really.
Abnormalities?
Yeah. As far as I can see, while I was doing my entry logs, there's none of that. But if you look at it, it's practically okay. It's a little bit different, like the texture. If you, I don't know if you can see it over the camera, but the texture is softened a little bit. It's softened a little bit. It's soft. The eggshell is softer than it was. Like if I squeezed it, it would crack. Well, it would do that normally, but if I squeezed it gently, it would also crack, which is not normal. Next one is salt water. 2 cups hot water and 1/4 cup salt.
And all the eggs were
white.
Hard boiled?
Oh, by the way, all the eggs were hard boiled, and then we waited until they were cooled off, so hopefully it wouldn't be different than from teeth, and then just put them in the liquids, which you can see in the quick video that we did.
So the vinegar being soft and squishy is kind of weird considering it was hard boiled.
Yeah. Yes, very weird. So this is the salt water. There's no real abnormalities, but again, the shell texture is not the same. If you look very closely, you can see these little like lines, like wrinkles. I don't know if you can see it over the camera, but if you look very closely, you can see these little...
Hold it right there so I can take a picture and zoom in.
You can see these little wrinkle lines.
Yeah, like little lines across it, stripes.
Yeah, and you can actually feel it if you touch it. You can feel it. It's like bumpy, which is not normal for an eggshell.
How interesting.
Okay, so that was salt water. The next one we're going to do is just normal water. So I say that for last.
You can do it now if that's the order that you have.
That's the order that I did the logs. Okay, so this is just normal water. Yeah. Okay, so this one, by the way, was a little bit cracked when we put it in there. And the crack didn't grow. So if you see a crack, that is not from the water. It was already it was pre-cracked before we put it in there. So you can see this little crack right here is from before, but the water is practically the same texture as before we put it in, and it's smooth compared to the sugar. No, the sugar was kind of like softer and like vinegar, but not as extreme, and the salt was like bumpy. This one's just pretty smooth right here. Okay, so for the next one, this one is one of my favorites. It's Rockstar Energy drink. It's pretty disgusting. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it before I pull it out. So if you see this brown stuff, this brown filthiness, yes, back up.
I'm trying to your hand so it's in the video. There you go.
Sorry. Okay, so if you see this brown filthiness right here, that I have no idea what it is. It's pretty gross. Like I almost threw up. Okay, so after being put in there for 5 hours, I checked it on it, but I didn't do it in a log. I just checked up on all of them. This was surrounding the egg, but after 9 hours of being submerged, it was on the surface of the water. But if you look at the shell has been eaten. It's discolored and it's like shriveling up. And look at the bottom. It's like makes me want to throw up. I don't know if I'm gonna want to touch this, but I'm going to anyways. Okay, so that's Rockstar Energy drink. Basically like Monster. If you're into that kind of stuff, this is basically the same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna show you something real quick. It is the gunk and the filth. Okay, look, before I show you this, I'm gonna actually show you the water. If you look at all these little particles of eggshell that were not the water from the solution, if you look at all of them, it smells gross, by the way. But don't spill it. It's the eggshell literally is just like came off. It's pretty gross. And then with this, you're gonna see the brown stuff. See that brown stuff right there? That's pretty gross. No, this one right here. Mm-hmm. And if try not to barf here. This little, so gross. It's like the shell. I don't know how to describe it.
Is it hard or soft?
It's hard, but like parts of it has come off. It's like that's it's stained too. It's like makes me want to barf. It's pretty gross. I'm gonna put it down now. I'll do a quick rinse right there.
Pretty gross.
Very gross. So the next one is vegetable oil, canola oil. You know that stuff. This one. Anyways, so this one was not extremely interesting. I mean, it's pretty interesting, but not extremely compared to like other ones like Rockstar. Okay, so the interesting about this is no like color abnormalities, but the texture of the egg, if I dried it off, it's, I don't know how to explain it. It's different than it was before.
Is it smooth or is it bumpy? Is it softer or hard?
It's like softer than it was when I put it in there. Like if you hard-boil an egg and take it out and feel it, it's not gonna feel like this. This is softer than the hard-boiled egg.
It's smoother.
It's very smooth. It's interesting. The reason I did oil, because you're not gonna drink oil, obviously, but it's gonna be in some of your major food groups. Like most of the food that you'll eat has oil in it, at least some, right?
Yeah.
So the next one is chai black tea.
Black tea is one of the more popular teas.
Yeah.
Because it has a higher caffeine.
Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because the tea is literally just hot water with the tea bag and the tea leaves coming out of it. So
no sugar, nothing like
yeah,
that.
It's pretty interesting because when you can literally see the particles at the bottom of the jar, these were just like the tea. If you look at it, it's okay. So it's discolored already, but it has all the gunk of the leaves on it. On it. So if I just like brush that away, it'll go away. But it's discolored because it had it on top of it. So next, there is coffee. This is just black coffee without any of the creamer.
Or sugar.
Or sugar. Just fresh out of the Keurig.
With real coffee grounds, not a mix.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, coffee roasting. So the coffee, it had a crack. I don't see it though. Right here. See this crack that's all right here? This crack right here. It's like right there. And the coffee is pretty discolored. It's not normal. So this is Sprite. An example, it's lemon lime soda. What was interesting with Mountain Dew and Sprite is that when after it was put in, it wouldn't float to the top, and then when it sink all the way, it would literally be floating like a millimeter off of the bottom. It was pretty interesting. Like I don't know what that was about. But you see with the Sprite, it has no discolor. Well, okay, so you see this crack right here? around the crack is kind of discolored. It's kind of yellow, like in this area. But around the other parts of the egg, it's pretty much normal. It's just cracked from the sugar and acid, I'm assuming. Put the crack up. So the next one is corn syrup. This one was pretty interesting because if you look at it, it's, okay, we put it and then we put the corn syrup on top. It literally just floated and it hasn't gone down. It's literally just halfway out of the corn syrup.
And we haven't shaken it, so it should be a different texture between the top half and the bottom.
I'm interested to see what that feels like. Okay, so corn syrup. Okay, so the texture is kind of weird. It's a weird liquid because it's basically not a liquid. It's kind of like a jello, but not.
Bring it over this side.
So maybe I should wash off the stuff, or should I just try it off?
Let's just kind of look at it and feel it. Do you see a texture difference?
I can't feel it because of the
corn syrup. Okay, go ahead and rinse it.
Okay, so I'm gonna rinse it off real quick because the corn syrup does not appear to be.
Can I rinse my finger too? Because it's kind of gross.
Okay, so with the corn syrup, I don't. Okay, so in the corn syrup, there's a crack right here. I don't know if you can.
Okay, so
no, I don't think it's a hairline crack right there, but that crack right there. I don't really feel a difference with it though. Feel it, Mom?
I don't feel a difference either.
So corn syrup has done nothing really to the shell, which I found pretty interesting because I thought it was going to be one of the worst because it's basically just sugar.
And they say that if you leave sugar on your teeth,
yeah,
you get cavities.
Yeah, so
I'd probably rinse that bowl out if you you're fine.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. If you look at the grape juice,
This is white grape juice.
Yeah, if you could see the lid, but it's like kind of curdled it, I think. I don't know, I haven't touched it. Could be just bubbles, but the bubbles are out of the air, so they should have popped or something like that. But it's.
And there's an area. There's an area on the egg that is not curdled.
Oh yeah, there's an area on the bottom. Here, let me show you.
See if we can get it out. It's okay. Just pull it out. Go sort it. It's okay. Do your straining thing.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the grape juice. Okay, so you're gonna see that area I was talking about.
Yeah, so put it over the sink, and I'm gonna zoom in.
Okay, you see this area right here? It's stained, but it's not like.
I wonder if that's where the yolk is or something.
Okay, so.
Ooh, the shell's coming off.
Oh, the shell feels so weird right now. I don't know how to explain it. It's
like reptile skin.
Look at that. Like, look at this filth right here.
From grape juice.
Yeah, grape juice is one of the worst so far. I can tell. I'm gonna take off half of the filth right now. I'm just gonna show you what it looks like underneath the filth. So this is what happens if you just like kind of brushing it. Like I'm just brushing away the stuff. So this is it without being brushed away. This is it being brushed away. Even though it's brushed away, you can literally feel the texture. Like, Mom, if you feel it right now, it's bumpy, like an alligator skin. I don't know how to. I don't know, but you can also see it. It's pretty
very visual. Okay.
Disgusting. So that completes my experiment. I just have to do a log right now about what I felt and stuff.
Experienced and observed.
Yeah.
And what did you think from that? Did you maybe sugar's not as bad for your teeth as acid-based foods?
I personally believe that don't drink stuff with dye in it because Powerade, like Gatorade, Powerade, whatever. Aid, whatever. Sorry, it's stained pretty bad. It's literally just like basically water, vitamins, and dye. It's stained like it's kind of weird, right?
Popping.
It's pretty stained. It's one of the worst ones color-wise. It's kind of like a Easter egg if you paint it. But because vinegar, this is absolutely don't eat stuff with too much vinegar.
Or acid.
Because vinegar is basically all acid. Like,
if you look at, you can see the light reflected through the egg, where it's got like a bubble right there.
Yeah, see this bubble?
It's got liquid in it.
Yeah, this bubble right here was out of the vinegar, and yet the shell is eaten away. It's fascinating because we put them in with the shell, and it has no shell at all anymore.
Okay,
it's pretty gross. So I don't know, but I think acid's kind of worse for your teeth, in my opinion. From this experiment, I could be wrong.
And what was the top 3 worst ones?
Top 3 worst ones? Definitely Rockstar. This
energy drink.
Yeah, pretty gross.
Ew, it's like bumpy and dry. And
like,
crunchy.
Just imagine what that's doing inside your stomach too. Like, don't drink Rockstar.
Yeah, look at my fingers. Let's see if I can get that.
Another one that's really bad. So Rockstar, vinegar. Well,
we did the vinegar already.
Okay, yeah. And then I would definitely say grape juice. Like this grape juice.
Who knew grape juice was so bad?
I know, because it's high in sugars and acid too. Like, it's pretty gross. And if I had to choose one more, I would either choose the diet soda, which is, look at the diet soda. It's cracked it completely. It's terrible, in my opinion, for your teeth. The diet.
And your stomach. It's
yeah.
probably messing up your...
And then it's dyed. It's dyed the worst, with the most color besides the blue one. And it has this huge crack on it, and it was not shaken or anything. So I don't know. Most of these are pretty bad, except for the salt water, sugar water. The ones that were okay is the sugar water, salt water, normal water.
But the salt water had a weird texture. So
yeah,
who knows what it's doing to your teeth, right?
Yeah, but corn syrup was actually okay, which I'm pretty surprised by. So, hope you liked the video.